Boom, monkeys, and we are live. Welcome back to the Crypto Boogie channel. Tonight we're gonna have a freaking blast. I went ahead and I put on a boogie shirt to match the main token we're gonna talk about, and that is none other than the Oath token. Of course, we are gonna cover some other badass tokens. We are gonna check out some Bitcoin technical analysis, a little bit of ETH, some ton. I'm going to show you cats how to get some Oath since they've changed a lot of their liquidity over from freaking doggone Phantom to the Optimism side. And we're also going to cover a little bit of freaking Pulse Chain. Now, I do have a special guest in the chat, as I had mentioned yesterday. You guys should be pretty excited about this one individual. He's just recently started his stream, and his fundamental analysis is fucking gangster. And that is my homie, Mr. Angry Freaking Twinkie. How you doing, Twinksters?
Hey, what's going on, Boogie? Glad to be here. Thanks for having me, man. I got to do this, though.
All right, let's get it, man. You got to quit that shit, bro. Every time I talk to you, bro, you make my freaking ass laugh with your freaking soundboard, homie. But to the audience, Twinkie's got some freaking... So some things on his soundboard that he can't play right now because we would get immediately freaking banned on freaking YouTube. Show them that shit, know what I'm saying? So Twinkie, I saw your stream last time, bro. Dude, you have a shitload of data and a shitload of knowledge, man. And I said, dude, let me mix this cat's fundamental analysis with my TA, and let's see what comes from that, man. Let's see what comes from that. How did you learn how to do a lot of this shit, man? Where did you pick up a lot of this? Your chart reading is second to none.
I think I appreciate the flattery, man. Certainly, I've had a lot of good conversations with you on the TA side of things. I would call myself very much a TA novice. Guys like yourself, Charlie, Mike, Agent J, Zenith, you're probably going to run circles around me. I'm not an idiot. It's not necessarily what I gravitate towards. I do, quite frankly, a lot of reading. As far as looking at some of the different things, charts, movements, and like, a lot of it comes from a professional corporate career working in business, let's say business to business related activities. My company, the company I work for, I'll say I've been with that team through 3 separate buyouts. So I've seen certain patterns in corporate America that kind of stand out to me. And I just try to leverage that in certain different fields and industries. In this case, I'm just trying to apply the knowledge I've gained elsewhere to the crypto blockchain space.
Yeah, man, dude. And I could tell that you know a lot about this shit, man. And when I hear you talk about a lot of the things you deal with at work, bro, you translate it very well. And I think that your fundamental analysis is second to none. Now, for you cats that don't know, Twinkie will be covering a lot of the fundamental analysis of some of the tokens we visit today. So, Twinksters, usually I hit up some memes. I'm going to hit up 2 memes. Hopefully they don't make you laugh too hard, bro. But audience, we were actually talking about freaking aliens and stuff like that prior to this. And we actually talked about even mentioning it on the stream. I was like, nah, we'll keep that for a later stream, if anything. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Twinksters. So let's go over to the memes, son. Let's see what the memes entail, homie. And I hope I don't get you in trouble at your job, Twinkie. But too bad, so sad, dog.
I'm going to get canceled.
Yeah, we go into the first meme, man. We go into the first meme, bro. And that is doggone the CIA director watching as I dismantle another psyop with a silly meme. And here we go. And some people actually believe, Twinkie, that freaking Taylor Swift is a freaking psyop, if anything, bro. Who knows? Only time will tell. Now, the next thing we're going to cover is an AK-47 muzzle blast deflecting rain. And I think these cats are from JMac Industries, man. Since I can't carry a weapon on this stream and show you cats and do weapons reviews, I have to show you videos. So this is pretty intriguing. I think this is pretty cool to look at. One of my favorite things to do, Twinkie, is actually training the rain, homie. That shit gives me a hard on, bro. Especially when you see the steam freaking emitting from the rifle after you discharge the whole freaking mag dump. And this is what it looks like. Dude, and this cat is running at least about a freaking 7-inch barrel, bro, from what I'm seeing in his videos, dude. I don't know if you've ever. What's the shortest barrel rifle you've ever shot, Twinkie? From off the top of your head, I'm assuming probably a 16-inch barrel on an M16
Yeah,
or something like that, or an
for a
M4, right?
rifle, yeah, for a rifle, 16.
16. Yeah, the concussion on the freaking doggone 7-inch barrel, bro, especially on an AK-47, bro. Dude, it is freaking loud, homie. It is freaking loud, bro, and it is pretty damn concussive, if anything. Hence why I love running suppressed. Know what I mean, Jellybean? Now, in the state that you're in, Twinkie, do they permit you to own suppressors?
Yes, we can. We are a free state. We are a constitutional carry state. Hell, I'll throw it out there. Some of the audience since I've had the opportunity to chat with some of the audience in person. So I'm in the fine state of New Hampshire. I'll leave it at that. Tax free, state tax free, no income tax, constitutional carry state. Our state motto is live free or die.
And that's what I'm talking about, man. That almost sounds like a smaller Texas, if anything, man. The only thing, though, is that we do have a sales tax here when you do buy stuff and things of that nature. But like yourself, we don't have a state tax, which is kind of beneficial. We do have my homie, freaking Nellyville, in the chat, who was laughing at your freaking little Asian freaking introduction. And he is from Cali, and he had mentioned, dude, that he has to pay state taxes. That cannot be fun, especially when you're freaking making your hex gains. Yeah, dude. That's painful, bro. That hurts. Now, I was talking to Twinkie earlier that that Manny Pacquiao, as a matter of fact, he actually chooses to fight in China, bro, because the taxes are so damn high here in the United States. He would have to pay close to about 37% in taxes, bro, for any fight that he has here, bro. That is fucking nuts, dude. That is nuts, dude.
It's not worth
to mention,
it.
Yeah. Dude, he actually chose to go fight in Macau, China, which is a communist country over freaking a capitalist country like the United States. That is wild, man. That really entails that, man, dude. Our tax code is completely screwed up, homie. Completely screwed up.
So I'll say New Hampshire does have a meals tax for like prepared meals, eating out restaurant type stuff. As far as the rest of the taxes, our property taxes are a little steeper than some of the surrounding states. A lot of stuff, especially for the education system up here, is funded through the lottery. But, as far as day-to-day shopping, daily living expenses, and certainly the value I get for my dollar from the state of New Hampshire, it's night and day difference when I drive through New England. I can tell, like, just like that, without even looking at a sign, oh, I have crossed over from Massachusetts to New Hampshire. You can feel it in the roads.
Yeah, dude, I believe it. I don't know if you were here one time. I did a recent stream, bro, and it wasn't a meme, but I presented the audience a video of where New Yorkers, man, now if they pass through certain roads, which I'm assuming are congested roads where there's a lot of traffic going on, they've got cameras up on the light posts, and they read every plate that passes through. And I think it's about $9 a day, bro, the cheapest, if you're rolling into town with a motorcycle daily, homie. That is crazy. That is crazy, dude. You'll never be able to keep your dinero like that.
No, I'm glad I used to live in Massachusetts. I'm thrilled that I left the state of Massachusetts. Life is much better.
Yeah, no, I concur. So, cats, let's go ahead and acknowledge the first freaking moon ganger here in the chat, and that is none other than freaking Ivan from New Mexico. What's up, amigo? And then freaking Nellyville came in second place. Nellyville, we got a badass fragrance tonight. Myself and Mr. Twinksters here are going to display our fragrances. He was actually not wanting to do so, and I forced him to. But he'll show us his freaking fragrance, man. So let's go over to the first chart, Twinkie. First chart I did want to cover, of course, as usual, is Bitcoin. This is where BTC sits right now. Now, let me go ahead, and current value of Bitcoin is at approximately $43,000, man. And as you can see right here, of course, I know that you see a lot of freaking lines up over here, bro. But if I turn this off, and if I was to draw an imaginary line from here to here, that would create something called the descending triangle. And that would entail that we're probably going to run to the downside. Now, since we're checking out this chart, the area that we do need to compromise is about this level of about $49,109. Do I think that's going to happen in the immediate time frame? I would say no. And if we look at our current 60-day cycle, we're at about day 9, give or take. We've already finished our recent 60-day cycle, which ended on the 23rd of January, and that turned out to be a total of 70 days. So I also drew up this red line, and that pretty much tells us when the halfway mark is on our 60-day cycle. And that would be on February 22nd. So if I push it all the way out to about March 23rd, that would be possibly the area where we could possibly dip at, which would be March 23rd. But I am expecting an immediate dip in the immediate time frame. Now, of course, this is one Bitcoin chart, and I know you cats see a lot of freaking price freaking movement with a lot of lines and a lot of shit that only I can read. But I've got a simpler chart for you guys to see. And I think I was sharing this with you the other day, Twinkie. And that's the same Bitcoin chart, but we do have it on the weekly. Let me go and turn the sucker on the weekly. What I'm noticing on the Bitcoin chart was that we do have this symmetrical triangle. Usually, symmetrical triangles don't give you a heads up as to which way you will go, whether it's up or down when you break out of the triangle. But what I noticed is that when I drew up this Fibonacci retracement within this symmetrical triangle, I started using the whole Elliott wave theory. And currently, we've already hit wave 3. And from what I'm reading, as per the Fibonacci retracement, it seems that we're going to come down to the 61.80% level. And that would put us roughly at about 34,247. Now, Twinkie, you did ask me a certain question before we went live on that. You want to drop that question so the crowd can understand pertaining as to what if we don't break to the downside?
Yeah, absolutely. Like what's your plan? What's your strategy? Obviously, you've got some TA chops. You've been in the game for a minute. You got some experience. You've seen a whole bunch of patterns. I personally agree with you based on some of the conversations we had last week and this week. Also, historically, there's been a pre-halving, let's say, dip to dump a bit. So I think there's some question of, did we get our pre-halving dump, or is that forthcoming? Maybe it's not really a dump. Maybe it's more of a dip. But in the event it doesn't play out that way, what is your strategy?
Sure. I remember that you had mentioned that on which day, Twinkie, are we set for the halving?
Shout out to the DGen Roundtable guys. I believe Zenith was saying we're looking at April 22nd-ish. Week of April 22nd is my recollection.
April 22nd. Let me see if I can grab the right tool for this. You said April 22nd. Let me grab a vertical line here, bro. So April 22nd on the daily would be around this day right here. So this is a day when we could have the launch of or the Bitcoin halving occurs. So if we grab our measurement tool where we're at right now and we push the sucker forward all the way to 60 days, that would put us roughly around March 23rd, give or take. So if we were to go ahead and continue running, I think that'd be a little bit weird, bro, because we would have to push close to about 212 days, and I don't think that's going to happen. So prior to that, I'm assuming that we will end up dipping, maybe not in the immediate time frame that I'm expecting for Elliott wave number 4. It will probably be a little bit farther out, but that's what I'm expecting. We'll probably be in another 60-day cycle before we do dip. Now, if we do come down here, let me put the sucker back on the weekly. If we do come down here to the 61.80 level, that is 34,271. If we do go revisit that, I am expecting a lot of the altcoins to start dipping as well. Now, I got to give a shout out to DCC and Cultivate Crypto because, dude, these cats are masters at timing freaking the charts during the crypto mindset, because they always want to get us the crypto mindset whenever there is an inbound dip. So shout out to them, man. They always give us freaking great times to DCA into the market, if anything.
Yeah, they are scarily good at getting that right time and time again.
Yeah, I concur, Twinksters. How long have you been in the crypto mindset, Twinksters, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, not a problem. Q3 2021 is when I took my first crypto mindset course, and I've taken every single one of them since then.
Yeah, I concur. The first time I actually came on board was in, I think it was it 2022? I think it was January 2022, bro, when I first came into the very first crypto mindset. But I did have a consultation with Miguel in October of 2021. You guys had just finished up your first crypto mindset, if anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
so that was a big learning year for me. Big learning year.
Yeah, dude. For you cats that don't know, Mr. Twinkie's gonna be on the air with the cats from the DGen Roundtable, and he's got some pretty damn good data he's gonna drop on us, man. So make sure you subscribe to his channel, give this video a like, bro, and follow Mr. Twinksters. His fundamental analysis is freaking fire, son. So Twinkie, let's go ahead and move on to a little bit of ETH, homie.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see here. You got that chart coming up over on your side?
Yes, sir. It's inbound now. And that's it right there. Current value is at about 2,300 bucks, give or take.
So I know you got some stuff forthcoming on the way the chart's playing out, but as far as the Ethereum side of things, we got some interesting news coming up, or things that have just recently happened. So that update, many of us were keeping an eye out upon, EIP 4844, which is going to do some proto dank sharding for the chain. They have rolled that out to one of their test nets. I'll call it like the second newest test net. They're in the process of retiring an old test net. So allegedly, and in principle, this will scale the network to contain more data. It is supposed to drastically reduce some of the L2 fees. I've seen different quotes on like tenfold reduction or greater. So we should all benefit from some better performance and reduced gas, especially when it comes to L2 transactions. Allegedly, it's just based on my homework, they're saying you can maybe get 100,000 transactions per second through new data types to be incorporated into ETH. They're calling them data blobs effectively. They do have one more test net that they want to roll out to, their latest and greatest test net. I'm probably going to butcher this, but it's written like whole sky. And that test net is open to new validators on that front. So really exciting stuff. I know a lot of us have been keeping our eyes open for 4844. Looks like it's almost here. I suspect we'll see it in the next few months. Yeah, it's pretty exciting stuff as far as the overall ETH narrative. Do I think it's going to be, something that uniquely pumps the chains? Maybe on ETH. I think chains like Optimism, Arbitrum stand to benefit from it, and the overall hype and narrative surrounding that more so than ETH directly. But ETH is still one of the big daddies in the space. What do you got in that chart, Boogie?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Now, since you stated the way you're making it, the way you're explaining this, it's almost as if the ETH guys or Vitalik himself, they want to start onboarding people more onto the L2s, if anything. So probably Arbitrum and Optimism. I'm assuming possibly to slow down the traffic on their own chain or entice the other chains like Optimism or freaking Arbitrum to go ahead and freaking start adopting a lot more projects, or people that want to get into ETH to start adopting more projects on those chains. I'm assuming that's the only reason I would guess that they would probably push for that.
Yeah. My perspective is some of the narrative, and it's always narrative can definitely drive a number of things and, make numbers go up. It's supposed to be one of the bigger game changers for that, to try to reduce or assist with a reduction of transaction fees and ultimately increase speed and throughput. So part one, how do we grow this space, right? We just need to continue to onboard businesses and users and drive volume, transactions, and have good projects. So to that end, more people is better for, green candles, and embracing the inevitable future of blockchain and crypto and distributed ledger technology on that front. So yeah, if they can bring them on to Ethereum and then work with entities or different chains like Arbitrum, Optimism, other L2s to give the end user a more simplified experience, then people are going to stick around. One of the big things we really struggle with is onboarding new users. And okay, Coinbase is great, and that part makes it simple, right? Okay, then what? How do you easily, directly bridge the gap from going from central exchange to DeFi? Well, good news. The guys who taught us a good chunk of what we know have a great course, Crypto Mindset. I think the enrollment is still open for that. And highly recommended. I'll be taking this quarter, so I'll see a number of you in the class on that front.
Yeah, I'm actually in there as well, man. I think Tex-Mex, my homie Tex-Mex, he had advised me hardest working trucker in America, that Charlie went ahead and he kept it open till Sunday. So if you cats haven't hopped on board, man, dude, this is a great course to take. They will teach you the fundamentals that you do need. And not only that, bro, there's a lot of scammers, Twinkie, on Telegram, bro, especially when I go freaking ask questions on the Spooky Swap freaking place or the DeFi Kingdoms place, dude. And I always bring my questions first, bro, first to the freaking people at the Citadel and then the Crypto Mindset group, because I know there's not scammers there, if anything. Know what I mean?
A lot of smart people in chat. Chat is undefeated.
I concur. I concur. So food for thought, cats. Make sure you guys join the freaking Crypto Mindset course that we do have coming up, open till Sunday. Fortunately, I don't have the link. I didn't have that prepped. But let's move on to the Ethereum chart. Current value of Ethereum is at about 2302. Now, Twinksters, I was advising my audience that I prefer Ethereum at 2,200 bucks. Do I see that as a possibility this coming cycle, man, or the current cycle that we're on? I would say yes, absolutely yes. Now, something that's a little bit different from Bitcoin and Ethereum as far as the cycle goes, Ethereum's a little bit more mature, man, as far as the 60-day cycles at. We're currently at about, dude, today, the new UTC candle we're printing, we're actually on day 30, bro. So we'll possibly get a dip around day 45 because on average, that is the earliest I've seen dips on Ethereum. And that would be around February 17th to anywhere to about, if we push it all the way up to 60 days, that would be March 3rd. I am hoping, Twinksters, that we do break this area of 2142. So if we do come to the downside, that would be pretty gangster, because that would be a place that I would probably top up a little bit more on Ethereum. And if you cats don't have any Ethereum, I highly suggest you eat your vegetables and you make sure you freaking get a decent bag of Ethereum to go ahead and stabilize your portfolio. Now, for you cats that don't do Ethereum, Bitcoin's also a great choice. I'm more of an Ethereum person, and that's the way I see it. If I do activate the EMA ribbon on this bad boy, we are seeing the EMA ribbon as an area of resistance for the current candle we're on the daily. Now, so far, we have somewhat of a doji, and it's halfway through the EMA ribbon, so it does have a battle to go ahead and go to the upside. So the EMA ribbon in itself is acting as an area of freaking resistance. And if I draw this trend line for these two candles over here, down this way, that would be another area of resistance. So I would only assume, but what I'm seeing in the chart and the trend that I am seeing, that will probably continue to the downside. And I am hoping we break below 2122. Keep your fingers crossed. The area below that we do have a support. Let me go ahead and move my freaking 60-day cycle on this shit. Is this 200 EMA that comes with the EMA ribbon, and that price point would be at about 2042. Now, you cats do know that I love Ethereum at under 2,200 bucks or at 2,200 bucks. But if you haven't gotten any yet, I would highly suggest that you guys DCA into ETH, if anything. What do you think, Twinksters? Do you think that freaking Bitcoin and ETH should be used to stabilize your portfolio, if anything?
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely kept my portfolio, let's say it's minimized some of the pain over the bear market over the last couple of years. The relative value of Bitcoin and Ethereum in my portfolio, so Ethereum value plus Bitcoin value at any point in time, has fluctuated between 30 and 50%.
Yeah.
So it helped keep me sane for the last couple of years on some aspects of that. So, Boogie, a question for you as far as your ETH purchasing strategy. Are you waiting to let's say come down to some of those areas of support on the dip? Do you have a routine buy you make every couple of weeks, every month? What is your strategy for DCAing into ETH?
Usually I try to get it. Well, one of the things that I've had to learn about technical analysis, man, and this takes a little bit of time to learn. Whenever you see cryptocurrency run to the upside, we understand it's very volatile, and we understand that it moves really quick to the upside. So when it starts running, people's immediate perception, especially people that don't do TA or FA, they think it's never going to come back to that price down again. So I try to dynamic DCA whenever we get to a certain threshold. For me, it's 2,200 bucks as far as ETH goes. I'll probably start DCAing moderately into ETH once we do break once we get back to the $2,200 level, because I do want to grow my portfolio a little bit more. If it starts going if I got it at 2,200 and we start touching that $2,100 area and we go below that, I'll probably start aping in a little bit more. And I use the word ape because that's when I'll drop my bigger portions into ETH. That's the way I like doing it. What about yourself, man? So, you did have a pretty gangster strategy on your BTC, bro. I really like what you explained to me, bro.
Yeah. So we'll come back to that in a second. As far as my strategy for purchasing ETH, I kind of split it between two different ways. And so I think it was Charlie who mentioned this to me previously in one of the courses, was many of us, you're either time rich but cash flow poor, or cash flow rich and time poor, meaning depending on kind of where you are in the arc of your life and your, let's say, daytime grinds and your side hustles and the like, you may find yourself working a boatload of hours. So you've got a better cash flow than you might have had previously, but in turn, you have very little time to sit down and really research stuff. Alternatively, you're going to have some folks who have plenty of time to read and research stuff, but they may not have the greatest cash flow. So you got to leverage what you have and try to make the most of what you got. I happen to be, generally speaking, with my daytime job, is I'm super busy. I don't really, aside from like some of the toys I got in back and some like guitars I bought for, especially I got 2 nice ones I'll be showing probably on the DGen roundtable. So that's my quick pitch there. You can see some of the toys and get some of the stories on that front. For buying into the crypto space and for Ethereum, what I do is I have a set amount I actually automatically DCA in every week. It's nothing extravagant, just always keeping that drip feed because, hey, especially now, I think certainly by end of 24, 25, you're going to wish you had cheap Ethereum for gas fees. When you got to stake, move stuff, transfer, unstake, you're going to wish you had some in your wallets. So many of us have multiple wallets. In each wallet, we may have multiple addresses because we're connecting to different things, moving different things around as we interact with different sites. You're going to be really upset when it costs you, $300 for a gas fee transaction. Potentially, we'll see how the next few updates and upgrades to ETH work out in the grand scheme of things. Versus, hey, you got an opportunity to get a good chunk of ETH, and you've had a great opportunity to get ETH over the last couple of years. So I throw about $50 in every week, in all honesty. Every Monday night, Tuesday night, just kind of automatically goes in. I keep a pile of cash on the side just in case it dips down to some of those price target points and okay, send a little more, send a little more, send a little more. You best believe we start getting like 1,500 or below, I'm launching cannonballs at that thing.
No, of course, man. Absolutely, bro. And trust me, homie, I learned my freaking lesson when ETH hit 890. My dumbass is buying Jewel.
Hey, Boogie, can you bring up Dr. Van's question? I think it's a really great question.
Yeah, man. Dr. Van, this is all for entertainment and not financial advice, right? That is correct, sir. That is correct. Including the memes, son. Including the freaking memes.
Indeed, it's edutainment.
It is entertainment. Shout out to Dr. Vans, man. A little story about Dr. Vans, Twinkie, if I haven't given you a heads up. When I first got into the cryptocurrency space, I had you heard me mention the story a couple times that for about a couple of months on end, I was listening to Coin Bureau. I was listening to freaking BitBoy, and I couldn't understand a damn thing that they were talking about. It's not till I had my consultation with Miguel that I actually figured things out as to how DeFi works. But Dr. Vance, he actually helped me out, man, with CeFi, centralized finance. He taught me a lot about Crow and the Crow, the crypto.com website and their wallet. And I had aped in. I had gotten their, I think it was their purple card, the indigo card, bro. But you had to lock up about $4,000 worth of Crow. And, dude, I made massive gains off that, man. So shout out to Dr. Vance. He helped me out a little bit with my CeFi journey when I first came into crypto, man. Crazy, right? The people that we meet in our lives, homie. And then we got my amigo, large and in charge. It's Angry Twinkster. You best believe he's angry, bro. He's just holding it in.
So quick history on that one. So Boogie, you actually have heard the original story behind why, for kind of obvious reasons. So many years ago when I was much younger, and I'm older than I look. So the green tea, brother, green tea. One of my neighbors was a half Vietnamese chick, and she's like, "Oh yeah, like this is the first time I heard it." She's like, "Oh, we're just a bunch of Twinkies," and I was like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah, yellow on the outside, white on the inside." It's like, nice, I get it. And so it just kind of stuck. And so I went to use the name Twinkie in like some system or application, and somebody had already taken it. So I was
Oh
like,
my gosh.
what the fuck? And there you go.
And I'm assuming that's why you had to add Mr. Angry Twinkie to it. So
Yeah, so it was like, oh, pick your salutation, Mr., Mrs., whatever. I was like, Mr., and then I was upset, and so Angry Twinkie. There you go. That's the history.
yeah, man. Dude, I love them freaking Asian chicks, bro. When I got stationed in Hawaii, bro, oh, dude, I had the Asian fever, son. Yeah, I'm a Mexican that likes Asian girls. That's coming from my mouth, not Twinkie's mouth. So you can't get in trouble. I can get in trouble, but not you, Mr. Twinksters. And then we got my homie Large and in charge. They call me Coconut. Yeah, we got our white Mexicans too, Twinkie. Yeah, bro. Yeah. All right, let's move on to the main token that we were going to talk about today. And don't worry, cats, I am going to cover pulse-chain. We're definitely going to revisit that. But Twinkie, first, let's go over to where you can get some mother freaking. Well, first, let's cover the chart, and then Twinkie, I will show them where they can get it at, and then we can go into your FA in regards to freaking Oath token. What do you think, amigo? You like the idea?
Sounds like a game plan.
Fire, son, fire. All right, we got the Oath token on Velodrome. Can you cat see this? Can you see these Twinksters?
Yes, sir.
Cool. Current value of Oath is at 3 cents and 64% of a penny, man. I did draw up the freaking 20-day cycles on this bad boy. And these yellow lines that you do see are areas of resistance and support. Of course, this is not trading view, so I can't utilize my freaking my EMA ribbon, which I love. So we'll use the next best thing, which is the 50, the 100, and the 200. Current area of immediate resistance that we are seeing on the Oath token is the 100-day moving average. And that would be a price point of really not far up from where we're at right now. We're at 36% of a penny, and we're at 3%. We're at 3 pennies and 64% of a penny, and immediate resistance would be around 3 pennies and 69% of a penny. So I am hoping that we get a little bit more dip, and I think we will once we make contact with this top portion of this candle here, and that price value is at about 37.23. Now, as far as the 20-day cycles go on this bad boy, we are currently at about day 8. So I am assuming that we'll start seeing a dip around, or the bottom portion of the dip around February 8th, because that would put us around day 14 all the way to about February 14th on average. So I'm hoping that's where we end up coming back to the downside so we could revisit and I can get a little bit of Oath. Now, one thing that you guys haven't noticed is that Oath is mostly now in the Optimism network. I tried recently buying some Oath token on Phantom, and I noticed that there wasn't much liquidity there. So I went ahead and I bridged it over to the Oath side. And one of the places that I bought it at was at this one place over here called Velodrome. Let me go ahead and share that freaking, let me share that site for you cats. Mind you, please use a condom wallet. Take Miguel's advice on this shit. I don't want to see you guys get freaking jacked and stuff like that. And that's where you guys can get it at. Now, you can also access it off the freaking current chart here on the right-hand side, where it comes down here where it says trade on Velodrome, and you can click on this freaking icon over here. But as stated, those are the dates that I'm expecting Oath to come to the downside. I'm keeping my fingers crossed, and I'm hoping that we revisit this area of about 3 pennies and 35% of a penny. And if we do get lucky, we'll get back to the all-time low of 3 pennies and 13% of a penny. Nevertheless, right now is not a bad time to get a little bit of Oath. Let me show you cats what the Velodrome website looks like. So you'll be a little bit familiar with it, and you know you're walking in the right place. And this is what it looks like. Of course, you connect your wallet here, and this does function off the Optimism network. Twinkie, you had some alpha on this shit that I wanted you to drop, man.
Yeah, so let me talk a little bit here about Oath for a second. With respect to the token itself, it's from the Byte Masons team. So I know when they initially launched it, for me, it was really the strength of the Byte Masons team. I've had the opportunity to watch Beebus be interviewed in one of the crypto mindset courses, as well as on DCC stream. Super smart dude. They got a crew of killers over there for what they're setting up. I had really positive experiences using Reaper for some of the farm activity on Phantom at the time. So my initial purchase into Oath was really based on the strength of the Bite Masons team. So a little bit speculative on that front. It wasn't a majority position. Don't go YOLO chucking your bag into a token necessarily like that. Certainly make sure you got some BTC and ETH to keep yourself afloat on that front. But as far as Oath token itself, you can follow me on Twitter. I'll call it Twitter to the day I die. It's Twitter.
Dude,
At Mr. Angry Twinkie.
X, bro. It's so hard to call it X.
What do you... Okay, Twitter, I send a tweet. X message, skeet. I don't know. What do we want to call it? So anyway, to your point, Boogie, Oath, most of the liquidity has moved over to Optimism. Now, based on my research here for what the Oath token proposition will be, the Bite Masons team is effectively treating Oath and their underlying Oath Foundation stack as a technical and technological stack they can license out to other projects. So they've announced recently their first chapter, as they're calling it, Oath chapter. And each chapter, so to speak, or I'll say like each business or each entity or project that they ultimately license to will stream fees and tokens back to the Oath Foundation governors and like. So that'll give them the opportunity to pool some resources to pay together to fund additional audits, additional development, and additional marketing. And I've reposted and retweeted some of the stuff from the Bite Masons team and the Oath Foundation. You can, again, find that on my Twitter just to stay semi-current on that. So what are they actually trying to do? They are trying to leverage some of their collective development experience, technological know-how and firepower, business-to-business understanding, engineering. And by licensing out the stack, they're effectively going to give a boatload of projects the ability to more easily launch and get their stuff off the ground. They've easily got thousands upon thousands of hours inside the team of experience, all sorts of money on audits. So imagine if you were a net new project, let's say you're a business trying to come into the space. Hey, I can try to figure out all this stuff myself or work with a very veteran team in the Bite Masons and potentially have a stack that is a lot more easily configured and ready to get rocking. So the first one they announced was this project called Aurelius Phi, which looks like it's going to do interest-free loans through their own stable coin. It's on the Mantle network, and that is an L2 on the Ethereum chain. I haven't done my full deep dive into their underlying tech. I will continue to talk about on some of my own personal upcoming streams the continuing the need for interoperability and different layers to facilitate all these different things, because no one solution is going to fix everything. You're going to need to have multiple types of solutions that all tie together. So coming up back to this Aurelius Phi and this Oath chapter, they're saying, okay, we're going to deliver a whole bunch of value to the Oath stakers. So over on Optimism, you can create a bonded Oath token to stake. In turn, this is from the announcement from the Oath Foundation, it's going to allow Aurelius to provide some cheap loans. Because of your involvement with Oath, some of the fees generated from the services on Aurelius are going to get funneled back to Oath stakers. This means effectively your bonded Oath stakes are going to get recurring revenue provided Aurelius is successful. And I believe they've also stated you'll get an airdrop of Aurelius tokens. So they've got their first one coming online, or it's already online, and it's going to generate recurring revenues. So very exciting stuff. And that's just one project. What happens when they get 5, 10, 20, 50 projects? Yeah, I think Oath is a great value. It's got a really good use case, really good proposition. And certainly anything that generates residual revenues, residual income, well worth taking a look at.
And I remember for a long ass time, bro, they didn't have any utility for the Oath token. And all this data that you're dropping on this shit seems like they're finally freaking. The first thing you described of anything sounds like an area where people can use as a launch pad to launch a project on, man. Pretty much.
So like speed to market too, right? I know through other life experiences, you've had some different dealings with different entities. Sometimes the ability to get there fast and get there first is a huge competitive advantage.
Now, do you think Twinkie, now for you cats that don't know and haven't obtained Oath, and for you cats that have, do you think, Twinkie, that they will end up migrating a lot of the liquidity back over to the Phantom side, if anything?
I think it's going to
In your
depend where
opinion.
where people are playing. I'll hedge my bet and say it's going to kind of depend where people are playing. Now, I saw the I'm going to call him a phantom whale. You can see some of my retweets on this one. This dude's got like 30 million odd phantom tokens, so $11 million, and he posts his address on Twitter as like, yeah, this is me. Said he had a multi-hour conversation with Beavis, and Beavis was pretty happy. Now, to what extent, tags and Twitter mean anything in the grand scheme of things? Who knows? But this whale was saying, hey, make Phantom great again, and then tag the Oath Foundation and Beavis and some other folks. So why not? Obviously, Phantom was really good to, I think, the Bite Masons as far as developing professional experiences, coming up with good product, and embracing the Phantom ecosystem. Obviously, Phantom ecosystem badly hit by that multi-chain hack,
I remember that.
I believe there was actually a recent settlement that multi-chain has 14 days to address. Otherwise, liquidation proceedings can start. I'll repost it on my Twitter. Shout out to Black Label Expat from the Crypto Mindset courses. He had posted something in one of the chats, so I'll retweet that. We got a good question over here from Alex. Should we move Oath from Phantom to OP? Actually, so Boogie, I'm going to throw a screen share up real quick here.
Sure, absolutely, man.
So Alex, not financial advice, brother. Here's how I did it. So I use Squid Router. I like to periodically check in on a number of projects through Discord and Telegram just to see what they're saying. So Squid Router, it's powered, I believe, by the Axelar bridge. And in turn, it made it really easy to go in and set up and say, hey, I'm on the Phantom network. I want to bridge my Oath over to Optimism Oath. So super, super straightforward, super easy. I've personally used it. If you obviously got any concerns, you can bounce your tokens through a secondary wallet and then connect it in and rebounce it. But I did use it. Yeah. It worked well for me. It was about as a straightforward transfer from the Phantom network as I could possibly think it might be. I did not try Spooky Swap because the last time I looked at it, Spooky Swap, it wasn't supporting this bounce, but it may support it now. I've just not looked at the Spooky Bridge in quite some time.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I did. So to answer your question, Alex P, none of this is financial advice, bro, but I would definitely use a condom wallet on that. And I did use Spooky Swap. I think it was, I don't remember. Yeah, I did use Spooky Swap on Axelar, bro, and I went ahead and I bridged through there. So I bridged my Oath from the Phantom side over to the OP side, and it ended up playing out. It ended up working out pretty damn well. Know what I mean, Jelly Bean? So I hope that answers your question, Alex. Definitely, man, I would, in my opinion. That's what I did because I'm seeing more liquidity over on freaking Oath side, if anything. Now, if you saw that one chart that I was utilizing on Dex Screener, I think that is the chart from all the other charts on Dex Screener that had the most liquidity as far as Oath goes. And that's Velodrome. You know what I'm saying? Do you want me to share that, Twinkie, what you're showing right now?
Let's see here. Sure, we can just take a quick look at it. So again, for folks maybe not super familiar with the Bite Masons, this is, I'll toss a link up to their site here in the chat. Let me just hop over to the stream chat. And all right, here's that link for some of the Bite Mason stuff. Cool. Yeah, they got quite the tech stack here. For anyone who's maybe played in the Phantom ecosystem for a minute, you should probably be familiar with Reaper. There's the Granary project, which I am not as familiar with, quite frankly. Ethos is a stablecoin protocol, as I recall, and I haven't really investigated Digit as of yet. So I got a bit more homework coming up this weekend for relative to some of the Bite Mason stuff. But again,
scroll to the downside, Twinkie. Scroll to the
yeah.
downside. You can see that they're on Avalanche now as well, if anything, and Arbitrum.
Yeah. So I know they've been increasingly going multi-chain. I would not be surprised to see them announce, hey, here's an Oath project on Avalanche or Oath project on Arbitrum or like realistically, clearly the future is multi-chain. There's no two ways around it. So why not get ahead of the curve and figure out ways to be multi-chain before your competition does, especially if they can quickly deploy their technology across multiple chains. So I'd love to have a separate conversation like with Beavis and just be like, okay, how's this working on the back end? Just out of my own personal curiosity, but it makes a lot of sense.
I concur. I would like for Beavis to cozy up to the Hex ecosystem and maybe possibly even launch it on Pulse Chain. Of course, wishful thinking. I'm hoping that happens, dude. As much as Pulse Chain starts getting a little bit more popularity, if anything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, relative to some folks who have Oath, the name of the game here is I recommend Squid Router. Works great. Yeah, and certainly that bridge, the Axelar bridge, you can use to move from other chains as well.
Cool, gangster, man. Now, since we did cover Oath, we also want to cover another token that may go to an amazing price point, and you had some alpha on this too. First, we'll cover the charts, and then we'll go into the deets as far as the alpha goes. Whenever we are done with this chart, and that is none other than Ton Token, son. Let's see. And this is the current value of Ton Token. Our current value now at the time being $2.09. Now, what am I noticing on the daily? We do have the EMA ribbon active. The upper portion of the EMA ribbon is red in color. Bottom portion is yellow in color, which means it's bearish. And we also have the 200 exponential moving average, which is acting as an immediate form of resistance to the current value. I did draw up this red line, and I'm hoping as BTC dips by the end of February, early March, that we go revisit this area of $1.92. Now, why did I highlight the red area? What do you think I highlighted that, Twinkie, in your opinion?
So I would think it has to do with either a retracement level. If you're highlighting it red, it could be your average purchase price. Side note, so I know many times is where we're looking to procure or obtain more of the tokens we hold. We may sit there and go, okay, it's going to retrace down to here, retrace down here. One of the other things I do is I also take a look at my ongoing average purchase price, which can fluctuate a bit. And for sure, if I believe in the project and it drops below my average purchase price, I am definitely buying some more to continue to bring my average purchase price down. Exactly. Obviously, it's a different point than where some of us started. I know in 2021 to 2022, through a combination of really aggressive DCAing, I was able to take my average hex purchase price from 18 cents down to 3 cents before the snapshot.
Dude, that was so difficult to do, Twinkie. Bringing that average price on hex, dude. I remember my average price was at 26 cents, bro. And I fought it down all the way to 4 cents. And oh my goodness, bro, it was so hard to get down there, bro. That was so hard to get down there, bro. But actually, you're right, Twinkie. You hit the nail right on the head, bro. The reason I put that $2 average is because that's when my ass starts DCAing. And because it's a psychological level. So you're absolutely right. I do want to bring it below $2. Hopefully I can average it out under 192. So I'm hoping we even get it lower. Now, what areas of support do we have under 192? The immediate time frame, it would be $1.52. So I know a lot of crypto people can't stand it when markets dip, but I guess we've become veterans in the space per se, and we actually enjoy dips, if anything, because we know good projects are always going to end up freaking going to the upside. Well, not all the time, but on average. And when could this happen, Twinksters? I would assume that if we push this freaking time-based tool out all the way to February 7th, that would be our 14-day cycle all the way to about day 21 around February the 14th. So February the 14th to about February the 7th. Those would be the immediate time frames that we could see freaking ton come to the downside. One of the things that I am noticing is that it's just oscillating. If we do activate our EMA ribbon again, if the EMA ribbon runs pretty tight, like we're seeing here, that's running pretty tight, you'll see like a little bit of moves playing to the like oscillation moves. But whenever you see the EMA ribbon separate significantly, you'll see big bounces. And right now it is spreading out a little bit more, so it's kind of like pushing it to the downside of anything. I'm hoping that we do get an immediate dip on ton token. Now, I do have ton Twinksters on the Ethereum side via ERC20. I know Charlie and Miguel prefer it in its native form.
Yeah, so I guess I'll weigh in on my stance on that. So I hold some ton on the native side of things, which if I can jack your screen for a second, Boogie, as we're talking through a few things, let me show you something. The easiest way I have personally found to get native ton at this point in time is to use a service called Ramp. And it does involve a KYC activity. In my experience, it was pretty damn quick. It was like 5 minutes to KYC, if that, and an additional 5 minutes to make my purchase and get it deposited into my native Ton Keeper wallet in this particular case. Yeah. So your access and ability to use this service potentially does vary by state based on where you are in the US. I know different states have different laws on this kind of stuff. It works for me. So FYI on that front. However, you might want to file this away too for those looking to potentially onboard more fiat. Even if you're not necessarily going to go through like a SEX or something like that, or centralized exchange, you want to have just different tools in your bag of tricks. Well, if you need to onboard fiat, you could conceivably use Ramp. I've used it. So what you would do is just go in here, select the asset you want. They've got just a boatload of different options here. In this particular case, let's say I'm searching for Ton token. You'll see right here, I got two potential options. I got Ton network token or Wrap Ton. I went for native Ton, and again, minutes before it was in my wallet. Super easy, super quick. Now, I was talking with Boogie before the stream. If I want to stake Ton token right now through the app, it's like 3.7%. What I haven't tested is off-ramping Ton token through the Ton network. My understanding, I've not personally tested it, my understanding is I can reverse the process and offboard through Ramp. I've not personally tried that. For 3.7%, I'm personally contemplating exiting out of the Ton ecosystem, getting a Wrap Ton, as it should track for price parity, because then I can move it around the Ethereum network and find easier ways to swap it out for something I need and then move it back off a centralized exchange. Not financial advice. If you want to get in a Ton token, native Ton token, you can get the Ton Keeper wallet and check out Ramp. Again, super easy, super quick. The whole process from KYC to having coins in my wallet was maybe 10 minutes.
Cool, man. Yeah, Ramp doesn't really work in my state, in the state of Texas, bro. And from my understanding, it's also not available in New York, which is wild to me, bro, because usually, man, Texas is a little bit libertarian-minded on its laws, and it surprises me, man, that we have no access to Ramp, if anything, here in our state. So I went ahead and I did the freaking OG way of doing it. I got the motherfricker on Uniswap. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Again, ability to move stuff around. As far as Ton token, obviously they've got ties to Telegram as far as that's concerned. It's like 800 million plus unique Telegram users. At least that's the report. So they potentially have a direct shot into a larger audience. Also, for some of the folks not familiar with companies like Animoca Brands, Animoca recently, I think it was late last year, earlier this year, they did a partnership and investment into Ton token to further develop the Ton token and Ton network on that front. So Animoca Brands, they're like a $6 billion company as part of this partnership.
Do you want me to share your screen, Twinkie?
Yeah. Let me do a quick screen share here and just show a few different things. Yeah. So one of the things they did was come up with some analytics, and they're supporting Ton token from analytics and analytics perspective and some other joint partnerships. They want to onboard the next 100 million users, I think is what they said, into Web3. I might be missing or adding a zero in there. It's getting late over in my neck of the woods. But They Animoca Brands also owns the Sandbox and like through subsidiaries, the Sand Token. So it's not like they're new to the space. They've definitely got some firepower. They've been around a hot minute, and yeah. So anyway, here's a dashboard that they built in conjunction with Ton Token, and you can see the transaction count just from the beginning of the year went from basically zero since the dashboard inception is it really zero, or is it just that we're starting the line at zero, to 445 million total processed transactions over time. Then you can sit here and take a look at ton wallets over time. So we had the cumulative transaction count and the individualized transaction count. So cumulative getting around a 445 odd million, but as well as the individualized transaction count. So clearly a bunch of volume spiking in, be it through apps, dApps, net new users, and the like on that front. As far as the wallet count, to the chat, if anyone comes across this, please tag me on Twitter. I'm interested in finding a similar stat for Pulse Chain, looking at wallet counts. But you can see Ton Wallets went from 25,000 active wallets or creator wallets, spiking up to around 69,000 active wallets over that span of time. So showing a lot of growth since January. It's a really interesting influx on that. I would want to spend some time looking at some other on-chain analytics and just other things to poke around to see if I can trace that spike into anything. You can see they've had pretty steady overall transaction volume over time, ranging from 500 million to like 0.9 billion transactions over the month of January. They have their own price chart, which I'll defer to Boogie's charting in the grand scheme of things, simply because this is just, whatever graph they want to throw up there from an analytics perspective, but generally floating, around that 2.2, dipping around 2.1, kind of floating around a little above $2. So definitely looking to see some, if it dips, I'm definitely going to snag some more and the like. And then there's a little bit of a correlation here. Once you get closer to one, it's very strongly correlated. So we can see ton price, daily transaction count has a pretty strong correlation, transaction volume, and increase in wallets, which indicates to me on the surface, they're getting, again, some type of more net new inflow. I would want to spend some time poking around some other analytics and other tools just to see what makes sense and see if I can maybe fish out any other patterns in that data.
Yeah, dude. I remember hearing that. Well, I heard this from a DCC and Cultivate Crypto, that majority of the people that actually operate on Ton are not Americans. They're mostly from Europe, bro. If anything, unfortunately, Ton, from my understanding, it stands for the Open Network, and they were originally founded by the Telegram app, or the people that launched the Telegram app.
Yep. So they got 800 million users on the Telegram app, right? And okay, let's just, for argument's sake, acknowledge, okay, some of them are probably bots and scammers, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, even if you like cut that in half, you're still talking 400 million users, right? Their current, let's say, their current wallet count is up around 5 mil, I think, for unique wallets, right? So you basically got like a 9 to 10x, 8 to 10x sitting in there, even if you cut the like number of legitimate users in half for their Telegram network. So they potentially got a lot of growth in front of them, at least available to them. Now, whether or not they can convert that market share remains to be seen, but they have a good inroad to it.
The way I went ahead and I DCA'd into Ton Token, I grabbed one of my Ethereum tokens, full Ethereum tokens. Now, for you cats, please don't do this, man. Especially if you don't have more than about 6 or 7 ETH. And I went ahead and I DCA'd it gradually into Ton Token. I do intend to put some brand new money into it. If we do go revisit those levels of about $2, which you had cited, is a psychological level, man. I do think Ton has a lot of potential to the upside. And your FA, I think, just it emphasizes that. Let me go ahead and add this other data that you got on the stage, Twinkie. You cool with that?
Yeah, for sure. So just a few different press releases from late November last year. One of the things is Animoca, as part of that arrangement, they're becoming or are one of their largest validator. Again, echoing that they're providing aspects of analytics applications, but also funding and research. So when you've got a $6 billion company backing you, and as I recall, the Telegram guys are already billionaires anyway. That's a lot of money. They have a lot of capital, a lot of financial and economic firepower they can marshal to make these projects successful. Again, okay, ton tokens floating around at $2. When we start seeing more of the let's say altcoins on that network and expanded use cases, yeah, it's going to get pretty exciting. I think it's a good idea to at least get a minimal position in there for the upcoming run. However, there's also thousands upon thousands of tokens. We're just looking at a couple different things we hold, or we're looking at potentially holding. Can't encourage this enough. Do your own research. If you don't know how to do your own research, hey, go check out the guys who taught us a good chunk of what we know. Go check out the Crypto Mindset course.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And they're the ones who introduced us to this token, if anything. You know what I'm saying? They planted the seed and we're watering it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So, now since we covered a lot of freaking technical analysis and some of your FA, let's go into the fragrance of the day. I know that's what everybody's been waiting for tonight. And I don't know that's why everybody comes to my channel, because they want to hear about the fragrance of the day, if anything. You know what I'm saying? Now, what fragrance am I rocking today? And that is Versace, man. Oh, fresh. This shit is freaking fire for the gym. I like it for the gym, or maybe if I'm hitting up the beach, or maybe if it's a hot day. What does this sucker smell like, man? The vibes that I'm getting off this, man, is a lot of citrus and a lot of woods, man. Slightly spicy. I would recommend about 3 sprays for the gym, man, if anything. I think this is good for that. It is relatively affordable. You can get these suckers for about $34 to about $40. But you are going to have to overspray this shit, Twinkie. It does not stick on your clothing for long periods of time. And that's the setbacks of fresh fragrances. Now, what about you, Monkey? What you got, Twinkie?
So, Boogie and I talk about fragrances, and like, I was telling Boogie, hey, man, I kind of got to watch the fragrances from my perspective. I can smell like a wet fox from 5 miles away. Certain stuff just drives me ballistic as far as, my nose is concerned. Try to find something that smells pretty good, but doesn't drive me nuts. So one of my go-tos on this one is Burberry Touch for Men. It's a personal favorite. It's got like a blend of a woody, kind of spicy, woody, musky.
For the evening, Twinkie? That sounds like an evening fragrance, if anything, bro.
Man,
if anything.
Like daytime, nighttime. Look, different strokes for different folks, right? It's kind of that woody, spicy note. For me personally, and my tastes, it's kind of any occasion. It is not super over the top and musky. It's got like a kind of an undertone. Some folks I think maybe it might be a little too. I don't want to say floral type, but it leans in that direction a little bit. Just smells really good. It's maybe a little, it's definitely on the warmer side of things is how I describe it. It's not like citrusy, fruity. It's definitely a little more woody and florally is how I kind of.
I was making a joke, Twinkie. I was making a joke. That next Crypto Mindset, everybody's going to smell like my freaking fragrance house, if anything, dude.
Yeah, man. I'm kind of like
fragrance palette.
I wonder how that's going to work out, man. It might be like walking into Yankee at the mall.
Dude, freaking getting Miguel, bro. Getting freaking Miguel to use something different than freaking doggone Creed Aventus, bro, is like pulling freaking teeth for that cat. He will not use anything aside from Creed Aventus. I'm like, bro, there's other options out there, homie. Creed Aventus is freaking, it's going to go, dude, but I think I showed that one time on one of my streams. The new Aventus is like $565, bro. The price of a freaking Glock. I could possibly buy a shitload of freaking Oath, Phantom, or freaking Pulse Chain with that shit and get 10 times the amount, homie.
Well, hey, man, if it works for him, hats off. And, if you like it, right? Like, that's a big part of it, too. You gotta like it. So here's the thing, though, with scents, right? Just because you like it doesn't mean everyone else does. And that's the hard part, right? Like, that's the hard part. I know you've talked about this on some of your streams. You're like, hey, like, I feel about it, but everyone around me loves it. So it's a winner.
Wait till I introduce you into the oud fragrances, bro. Kevin Samuels, he actually got me into oud. And I bought one of the Gucci oud ones. Put it on, bro. I don't like it, but I've gotten a shitload of compliments with it, bro. So you're absolutely right. I'm walking around hating the way I smell, but I'm liking the compliments I'm getting from people. Call me a weirdo, but hey, it is what it is, man. That is the whole purpose of freaking fragrance. And I overspray the motherfuckers, bro.
That's a head trip, man. Like, I hate the way I smell, but everyone else likes it, but I hate it.
All right, man. Let's move on to our final token, and we'll call it a night, man. And that is freaking Nellyville's having a blast with this shit, bro. Nellyville lives for this kind of stuff, homie. So let's go over to some freaking pulse chain, dog. Let's see what pulse chain entails today. Ay, ay, ay. And here you go. The pulse chain app is up. Dude, I draw up a shitload of lines. Can you see this, Twinksters?
Yes, sir.
Current value of pulse chain is at 3 zeros and a 1270. It does seem that we are printing a bearish candle, and it looks like we are about to retest the 3 zeros and a 1236, which is this white line here. If we break below that, which I think we will, and I hope we do, would be 3 zeros and a 1210. And I wonder, it does seem like the ABC wave is playing out after we ran our 5-portion Elliott wave. Twinksters, when you run a 5-portion Elliott wave, you probably know this from me saying it so damn much. And Charlie even noticed that, dude, Elliott wave after Elliott wave after Elliott wave at the beginning of this bull cycle. We go from a 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3 should be the largest, and then 4 to 5 should be smaller than 2 to 3. And usually we end up coming into an ABC wave, and I am hoping that we come revisit inside SAC price, which would be inside this box of about 4 zeros and an 8.6, if anything. Now, if we look at our 20-day cycle for doggone pulse chain, we are currently at about day number 10. And that includes that UTC time candle that we've just printed at 7 p.m. tonight. So when we may see pulse chain dip completely will be anywhere from about February the 6th all the way to about February the 13th. So take that as note, cats. That's where we may end up going. Now, in order for pulse chain to continue rallying to the upside, for you cats that don't want it to dip, we would need to compromise this area of about, that's 3 zeros and a 1425. I think patience is key with this one, Twinksters. And I think if you haven't accumulated enough pulse chain, once we do revisit that 3 zeros and a 1-2, it would be a great area to DCA. Now, Twinksters, I'm not asking you to go ahead and freaking expose your bags, but are you happy with the amount of pulse chain you do have?
It's like when I look at my bank account, my pulse chain bags, my guitars, it's just not enough. It's just not enough.
I concur, man. I'm pretty happy with the pulse chain bag I do have, man, if anything.
I'm okay with it. I'm not going to complain if I'm snapping up more.
Yeah, man. I do want to grow my PulseX bag, and that's not something I'm really covering today, if anything. But that's what we look at, like we're at on pulse chain. Did you want to add something, Twinkie?
Yeah, I sure do. I got a few comments on like how I'm trying to grow my pulse chain bag. So I do take some more speculative plays in the pulse chain ecosystem. You know, use a condom wallet, use an AIDS wallet, right? Like protect your main bag, don't expose your main bag. So what I do is I periodically I might eyeball a few ratios, but generally speaking, I've got enough pulse and PulseX where I might go, hey, let me trim 1 million pulse off of here, or a relative equivalent quantity of PulseX, and throw it into something like some of these meme tokens and the like. Because, okay, like you look at stuff like, I'm not going to call them a meme token, but just let's say alt tokens on the chain or secondary tokens on the chain, stuff like Hedron, Icosa, and then you start getting into like HOA, HSA, some of the other things. Shout out to Almighty on the HSA team. What's up, brother? But look at some of these other tokens. You know, people are going to see a lot of meme coin movement. I do want to acknowledge the presence of ZKZX on that, just to weigh in for some of the moon gangers who might be a little bit newer on that. That is a fork of the Tornado Cash solution.
Oh shit! Yeah, don't fuck with that, man.
Yeah. That's a look, but don't touch. I know what they're saying as far as like the website, and look, no hate, no bashing on anyone or anything like that. And hey, Nelly, I'm not bashing DCC. I'm just saying, you know, if he's got something that works for him, hats off to him. Like,
Yeah, we're not
yeah,
bashing DCC.
yeah.
I like picking on DCC a little bit.
So
He always fucks with me, so I'm returning him the favor.
yeah, ain't that the truth? But yeah, so it's like far as Tornado Cash, if you don't know who OFAC is, they are the Office of Foreign Assets Control. They have slapped multiple people down and around with assorted charges.
Do you want me to share your screen, Twinkie?
Yeah, if you don't mind, that'd be super cool. So let me share that out, right? I'll throw a link here as far as what OFAC is and the like, but they're part of the U.S. Treasury. They do economic and trade sanction and financial enforcement, and they can slap you with civil and criminal penalties. Look, okay, I know many folks are probably not going to rise to their level of attention, but you don't want to jeopardize your bags. They can potentially cut you off from the U.S. financial system on that front. They have leveled and nailed charges to one of the Tornado Cash founders. So what if all your assets are frozen? You're facing civil and criminal penalties, minimum 6-figure penalties, 7 digits or more, who knows, 20 years imprisonment, and you can't do any business with any U.S. entity ever until potentially your name is cleared. Personally,
Federal
that's
pound you in the ass prison.
Yeah, all of a sudden, like you go from this to like this microphone is fitting without issue. So
it'll give you plenty of BBC token, bro.
BBC 9-inch token. Like personally, I don't advise playing with fire. Certainly look into who OFAC is. I'm steering clear of this one. Do your own research.
I concur, man. Do you think these are the look at fucking larger than charges fucking comment, bro? No lube, bro. Yeah. Do you think these are the cats that blew up freaking Andrew Tate's freaking financials, if anything, bro? Because he was mentioned he couldn't even access his Visa or his MasterCards, bro.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. So a lot of, for a number of different U.S. entities and financial institutions, you are supposed to check, let's say you're taking on a client or you're working with a business, or like, especially if they're a foreign national, cross-check them against the, SDN list. Is what it's called. So I don't remember what the acronym stands for. Bear with me 1 second.
Let me know when you're ready.
Specially designated nationals and blocked persons list is what it is.
You want me to share that?
Yeah, if you don't mind. So don't fuck with OFAC. That's basically what it boils down to. It's not. I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah, I concur, man. I completely concur, man. And especially if it's a copy of freaking Tornado Cash. I know Richard Hart did like it for a little while till the dude got freaking arrested. But dude, I don't see. Look, man. For example, being in the gun industry, bro. I noticed that, for example, the banning of fully automatic weapons, prior, if they weren't registered before 1986 with the ATF, I could see how that's a law because I guess the Democrats can call it a dangerous weapon. I don't think automatic weapons are really that much more dangerous than semi-auto, man. If anything, I think they're less efficient. But I don't see how banning owning a token can be freaking illegal. That's wild to me, dog. That is completely wild to me, bro.
Yeah, so there are some like emerging case law elements on this. So, part one is not financial advice, do your own research. I don't think nothing bad's going to happen to you if you look at the site. It's when you start trying to route stuff through the site that potentially you're starting to play with fire. Now, I do want to say my concern here is not whether or not this should be legal or usable or whatever. My concern here is people mess with that and they potentially wind up on one of the naughty lists, and then they get themselves dragged into some ugly shit.
Yeah, and then they can't access their funds on MetaMask and shit like that, bro. Absolutely. Yes, I know where you're coming from.
Yeah. Like, good news, you made millions in crypto. Bad news, you can't ever get to it or use it anywhere.
Yeah, that's wild. That is freaking wild, son. So, Twinksters, where can they find you at, homie? Where can we follow you? I highly recommend that you monkeys follow freaking Twinkie. I did link up his YouTube in the bottom portion of the chat. Where else can they follow you at?
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks for the link on that one. You can also find me at Mr. Angry Twinkie on Twitter, always and forever Twitter. On that one. Certainly, if you know me through some of the crypto mindset meetups and courses and the like, you can find me on Telegram through that fashion. I'll be continuing to build out my brand until Smuckers smacks me down and says, knock it off. Here's a cease and desist. So we'll see, how that works out. That's so my goals for my crypto run are part one, make enough money that I can afford the lawyers for my dumbass behaviors that I will inevitably follow. And then part two, make enough money that I can take on Smuckers in court. So like the name is mine in full.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I feel you, bro. I get where you're coming from. Well, I'm glad I had you on the stream, Twinkie. Chat, make sure you give this video a like, share this video, follow me on Twitter, follow Twinksters on Twitter, because we are planning to make more freaking shows together. I'm hoping that the data that you guys got has been beneficial to you. I think that the information Twinkie dropped on Oath and on Ton was valuable. I do think that the information that we're dropping on Pulse Chain, Ethereum, and Bitcoin are also good freaking are good pieces of data, not to mention the fragrances. Can't forget the fragrances. You know what I'm saying? All right, cats. Catch you monkeys on the flip side.